we're going to do is we tried earlier today to try to go over our machine learning from scratch, our deep learning from scratch framework that we wrote on stream live. We wrote it live on stream. I wanted to do a review and test. That's part 4. We tried it earlier today, but I only had 15 minutes. I thought I was going to have more time, but guess what? We have some time now. We have a little bit of time now. We're going to go through the AI and see what it is. What are all the different things? We're just going to walk through it because we've made some adjustments. We made it better. We made it better yesterday just by simplifying a few things. Although it is more difficult to read now, which is kind of unfortunate, but it gives us the ability to give more flexibility. In fact, what we should do on our screen here, we've got our IDE, open it and ready. We're going to edit and make any edits or changes. Maybe little like touch-ups here and there, little touch-ups on the screen. We'll find out. But you know what? Actually, before I do that, check this out. There is a file called MLOG. I think this one's just a little actually going to walk through so far what we've done in our achievement here. So here's what we had previously. Like this is day 2, which includes back propagation. Day 1 was forward propagation, which is the easy part. And then then we also had the optimization, right? So this is the hard part. But you know what? When I said it was hard, I mean, look at the code. Look at the code on the screen. It's only like a few lines. And it's the hardest part of AI. And you're like, wait a second, I thought AI was super hard, like super challenging. And it is, don't get me wrong. It is, but here's the deal. We made it simple. There is an industry algorithm that has been implemented that is rather advanced in terms of its just complexity. But you know what? You don't need all that complexity. My goal was to show you how simple AI can be. Check this out. This code right here, that we have highlighted on the screen, it is the part where the AI learns. It's the part where the AI learns. It's going to call it back propagation and optimization, which basically just means that you're going to slowly adjust the numbers in the AI to sort of, it's kind of like it's a morphing or a mapping. How do you kind of see it? So the numbers are right here. Here's our numbers. These are what you call parameters. That's a clean code. You got it, Ashford. We got some clean code here, you guys, because it's just super clean and simple. You can have a whole bunch of code. Hey, I think it's super neat. It's just in the industry. Check this out, you guys. The industry, they have these advanced algorithms that just take up way too much code. And you can go crazy and you can write a whole bunch of code. It does the same thing. It achieves the same goal. But you know what? You're ending up with just a whole bunch of debt, a whole bunch of code debt. There are ways to optimize your code to have the least. That's like the best way to do it. So we built a deep learning framework here. It's really easy. You'll have to be really surprised to build it from scratch. It's super clean. If you do it the way I do it, if you follow instructions from someone else, they're going to give you a lot more code. Check this out. Here's the most difficult aspects of it right here. These 3 functions right here is 100% the code that you need for deep learning, you guys. For deep learning, isn't it cool? I think it's really cool. Here we go. Let's go through it. All right, so we've got here our deep learning model. Epochs is the number of times that you're going to train your data on your data set. So this is 1 epoch worth of data right here. You're looking at 1 epoch. So this is an XOR operator. And then we've got our sigmoid activation functions, which just tells you that you want to keep your numbers between 0 and 1. You don't want your numbers to get too big or too small because you've got vanishing gradient or exploding gradient problem, which basically just means your matrix have numbers that get really too big. All right, let's do this. Vanishing gradient looks like this. So you got, let's just say you've got a whole bunch of numbers here. And then you've got some bigger numbers, right? So you got some bigger numbers, 1, 1, 1, 1. And you don't want the numbers to get too close to 0. Like this is a gradient that is vanishing right here. And really, it looks more like this, like really big, small numbers. It looks like this, a whole bunch of really big, small numbers like that. That's a vanishing gradient problem because you can't get out of the hole after a while. Because if you try to multiply a number like this to do learning on it, to learn on this data, you'll have a hard time to get out of this hole. And so it creates these dark spots or hot spots if your numbers get too big, which prevent you from getting generalized knowledge. So you got your vanishing gradient or your exploding gradient. Which is big. We're all talking about numbers. You got forward propagation. You've got your back propagation, and then you've got your optimization, the part where the AI learns. So this is the learning segment. And this is where if you don't want the AI to learn, you don't need any of that. You can get rid of that there like that. Boom. You don't need that. You don't need this code here. This code is not necessary. If you just want the AI to use the existing AI that's been pre-trained, this is all you need, just the forward part. You don't need anything else. You don't need any of the other things. 1,000 epochs, what GPU are you using? Oh, Mohammed, don't worry. This is a CPU. We can more than easily, because this is 100% of the data right here. This is 100% of the data. All right, so check it out. Let's do this. Let's run this. Let's run it over here. All right, Python ml.py. Here we go. Wasn't that fast? Look, and we got 100% accuracy. 100% accuracy. And from July, thanks to July, we added our sigmoid from the output layer, our sigmoid derivative, and we added it right here as the last layer. So right here, we've got the sigmoid activation. Sigmoid activation right here, which is the output layer, because it's always going to be between 0 and 1. Between 0 and 1, you guys, and so you want your output layer to match what it's going to be in your intended binary classification is what we got here. So it's a number between 0 and 1. We've got our AI here. July was supposed to help us figure out something that's better than XOR operator, but check it out. Here's the answer. So we did it. So we trained an AI model to learn the XOR operator. The XOR operator. We could also have it, we could train it on like the AND operator. I would actually like to try that. I wonder if, would that work? Do you think that guys would work? I'm not sure, but Dojo, that's what we're doing. So we went through the AI model that we have here, a really simple AI model in 100 lines of code. It's a deep learning model. It's actually kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool. How low can we go? Can we go lower on this? I'm kind of curious. I bet you we could. I bet you we can make this more efficient. Can we go lower? Let's try it. Let's try it really quick. Yes, no. It's too low. Oh no, we're good. But it is a little bit too low. We're seeing some. There we go. But we're doing good. We got results. True. You want to see true all across the board. We're looking good, you guys. Stephen, it's so true. Development used to take a lot of thought processes compared to today's thinking. Thanks to AI, you got it. It's just we still have a lot. We still have a lot to think about, but the AI can fill in the gaps for us. That's what it's doing. It sees patterns and it can repeat the patterns, but it doesn't necessarily know any patterns that it hasn't seen before. It doesn't necessarily know. It doesn't know for sure, but it can still be. So I actually want to try something. I want to try something. Let's make this into the AND operator. Okay, so we've got the same input data, but let's turn this into the AND operator. So 0, 0 is going to be 0. 0, 1 is 0. 0, 0 is 0, but 0, 1 is 1. All right, let's see if we can figure this out. So this is, what is it? Can it learn? It did. It did. Look at that. Do you see what we did there? See, now you've got the picture, you guys. Now you've got the picture. Isn't it getting more clear? So we taught the AI. Can we teach the AI the OR operator? Let's do it. Oh, let's see. This is the OR operator. So let's see if we can do OR operator. Let's see if we can do it. All right. The AI is going to paint it for us. There we go. So can we teach it the OR operation? Is it going to learn? Is it going to learn the OR operation? We're going to find out. I'm actually kind of curious. I'm pretty sure it'll work, but yeah, it's still exciting. Developing deep neural network from scratch. What's the task? You got it, Kavarad. That's what we did. We built it from scratch. It's only about 100 lines of code. Look at it. It's only a few lines of code for each function. It's just a few lines of code, like 2 to 3 lines of code per function. And these are the critical premier functions, which is basically the current state of the art when it comes to building artificial neural networks, right? Or basically machine learning models or AI models, right? Right here, this is it. And I simplified it. I made it look simple because otherwise it looks like this. And it's kind of hard to follow. And a lot of tutorials will look like this when you're building it from scratch. It looks like this. There's a lot going on here. What does this even mean? I think this is a little bit simpler to read when it looks like that. Hey, Akash. Hey, I joined pretty late today. Hey, no worries. We've only been live for about an hour and 17 minutes so far. What changes made to the neural network accuracy except increasing epochs and decreasing learning rate? Hey, Akash, you got it. Okay, so guess what? It was a typo. I made a typo. Here's the answer. I'll show you where the typo was. It was right because we broke it. We're like, oh no, it's not working anymore. What happened? That is because I accidentally pressed the letter X on the keyboard. Whoopsie doodles. Whoops. And so that's what happened. And so here you go. So this is what it looks like when it runs successfully, right? And there goes. See, look, we trained it on the OR operator, the XOR operator, the OR operator, and the AND operator. It all works, but it won't work if we press the X button right here accidentally. Look at this. Here, it's going to fail. See, it didn't work. It failed. It's got errors. And as you can see, it's run into problems. It's not able to learn anymore. It can't learn. So it hits a problem. It hits a problem. And see, it's no longer accurate anymore. So you've got this false here because it's not correct. It got the data wrong. And see how it's just broken. It can't converge. It's lost its ability to converge. Isn't that crazy? One single letter is all it takes to destroy the algorithm. Isn't that crazy? All right, let's put it back. Let's put it back, you guys. Now it works. True across the board. Right here, true across the board, right there on screen. Look at that. That is a good output. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for that output right there on screen. The good output right there. All right, let's see. Let's get so that's all we did. It was just one letter off. Sorry, Akash. Mega animations. Okay, man. All right, let's see here. Let's get back to some of the chat messages. Man, can you start creating detailed guides and concepts for machine learning? Might be a good boost for visibility. Building from scratch, I've done, which is similar to what we've done over the past few streams, and a few others. So AI is one of the more common videos that I make because it's the most fascinating, I think, is artificial intelligence. Charles. Wait, hold on, come on. Go with just Kava. The Java with K. Wait, but with K? Kava? Wait, is that a language? Thank you for the likes, you guys. Wait, Kava? Wait, is that actually Java versus Kava? Wait, is that a thing? Java versus Kava. Is that a thing? I don't think that is. It's not. It's not a thing. What are you talking about? Wait, Java widely used general purpose learning, while Kava, spelled Kava, can refer to a system for adding behavior reflections into Java bytecode manipulation. Oh, so it is kind of a thing. Kava as a reflective Java system. Okay. Or a plant-based beverage. It could be a beverage as well. It could be a beverage. There you go. It could be a beverage, you guys. Let's see here. No, Kava, no, wait, that's not what you're talking about. All right, let me know. Charles, so Stephen, imagine this local bot system plus, given a sufficient privileges in cloud via CLI, can have an automated deployments, and you can literally automate the actual engineer. We're closer than not, Charles. We're getting close, aren't we, Charles? You can automate all the things. What we need to do next is have a fully automated operation system completely running by AI. Something goes wrong, it can make some adjustments in the network. Something goes wrong, it needs to notify a human maybe if it knows it can't do something, but otherwise, you can automate all the deployment, all the orchestration. You can do it all with AI. Charles, we're in the future, aren't we, Charles? Isn't it crazy? Oh, accidents happen like that? Yep, Akash, I know. Isn't it crazy? One letter is all it took. I'm like, what's wrong? And here's what I did was I opened up the original, I opened up the original file here, and I was like, what's different? I don't see anything different. And I was like looking at them side by side, and I had them like perfectly lined up like this. And I was like, I can't tell what the difference is. What's going on here? I'm like going line by line, like, they look the same. What's wrong? And it was just one little letter. It was one little letter. It was crazy. At Mega, you missed the first part of the mention of local agent development, automated deployments, and DevOps, though. Yes, among many other things. Yeah, there's a lot to it. Is that not DevOps? It is. I mean, it's DevOps, but now we want to automate DevOps. We want to automate deployment and operations in the full orchestration lifecycle.